All right, today we are heading into Philadelphia to do some client work with a nonprofit. I've worked with these guys a couple of times. I filmed an event recap video of their 24-hour stair climb of the art museum steps. That's actually on my channel. You can check that out. But they're a nonprofit group that helps cancer patients throughout the city. And we are conducting some interviews with key team members today in the hopes to produce a short film that talks about the impact that their organization has had throughout the city.
So I almost didn't post this vlog because I don't have any behind the scenes footage from this interview day. Honestly, between their tight schedule and me getting sent to the wrong offices a couple of times, I was very flustered and I really just wanted to get in, get the footage that I needed to, and get out. But I will show you some unfinished footage from the Lumix cameras that I got that day. This has just had a basic color correction applied to it, no grading or anything like that. But I am curious, how are you guys who are making these behind the scenes vlogs reminding yourselves to get the footage that you need to when you're on a shoot? It's very difficult for me sometimes to remember to pull out my phone and start filming. So I'm curious if you guys have any tips or tricks to get it done and to get the footage that you need while also getting the content that you need to share the behind the scenes. Day 2 of filming was done in this very fancy apartment complex. They had some conference rooms up on a higher floor that we were able to use. And this is, again, the 2-camera setup that I run with for pretty much every single interview. So you can see that the walls were pretty plain Jane. We didn't have anything that we could really dress them up with, but honestly, I'm hoping that content of the story mixed with the other interview footage and other footage that I'm going to be capturing for this short film can help lend itself to some of these plain backdrops that I didn't really have the ability to dress up. And a quick time jump to the next day in DFW, where I had a 3.5-hour layover. So while I'm enjoying this Jamaican jerk chicken flatbread, I just wanted to talk with you guys about another YouTuber named Tommy Beal. Now, I was introduced to Tommy Beal through David Moorfield, who is a videographer in Orlando, and he's been crushing this vlog game. And honestly, a lot of us have taken some inspiration from him and started making our own vlogs. David introduced us to Tommy, and Tommy has been doing a fantastic job about being super transparent with his own business growth strategy, how he prices things, how he is reaching out to businesses in his area, and he's given me a lot of great ideas for upcoming content. So make sure you check him out if you're interested in videography and how to build your videography business. He's got a lot of great stuff going on. Along those lines, I wanted to share some of the behind the scenes of growing my own local client portfolio. I recently went to a networking event with over 100 local business owners, had some pretty decent conversations, and I have 5 or 6 potential clients that are looking to start work in the next quarter. So hopefully I can share more of those proposals and those contracts as they get locked in.
I probably could have just rented a car and driven and gotten to San Antonio faster, but you know, such is the life of last minute bookings. Client shoot in the morning. This is a client that's been with the marketing agency for, gosh, like 5 years now. So this will be my second time directing a shoot with them. I'm looking forward to it very much. But before I get into that, I kind of wanted to show you how I pack when I travel. I did a video around this time last year where I broke all of that down, but my packing system has changed a little bit since then, since I now have new gear. And if you haven't watched the other vlog yet, this gives you an idea to sort of see how I pack when I'm on the shoot. So as mentioned, these are the only 2 bags that I'm working with. I've got the Peak Design 45 liter, and I opted for this because it could fit everything that I needed to at the time. But as my gear kit started to expand, that wasn't the case. So then I went for the Nanook 935, and I went for that because at one point I was carrying all the tripods and stuff in this backpack and it was getting really heavy. So I now put all of my stands and everything in there, and I throw my clothes in along the side. But I've got my lighting stands, some charging cables, my tripods for the cameras, gaff tape, ND filters, cables, batteries, all that good stuff. Air tags so it doesn't get lost. And then over in the Peak Design, we have tech pouch, LED panels, which I'm thinking of upgrading to something different soon. These guys have been great, but I've kind of reached a point where they're not giving me the look that I want to have. So I'm looking at something like the Amaran 150X, or possibly even as high as the 300, but we gotta wait for a good payday there. And then we've got batteries, cameras. I've got the, again, Lumix S5 Mark II X, and underneath the microphones we've got the Lumix GH6, so A cam, B cam respectively. I'm going to be upgrading the lens on this in the near future. Right now it's the 24 to 105 f4, and it's good. It serves its purpose for interview setup, especially when I can light the subject accordingly, but I'm looking for a little bit of a sharper image from a lens, so I'm probably going to go with one of the S series primes, like the 35 or the 50 to start. This always goes in the overhead bin, and this somehow manages to fit mostly under the seat front in front of me, so that's cool. Haven't had any problems or questions about it or anything like that. But now that we're here, we are going to prep all the batteries, get them on the charger, get ready to rock and roll for tomorrow morning. Luckily, the hotel is 9 minutes away from the location, so I don't have to get up super early. So I'm still gonna try to get most of my prep done tonight so that I can take a hot shower, try to break up some of the sinus congestion that's going on. I took some Tylenol, I took some allergy medicine, and I'm gonna park it with a mug of tea and just try to chill out before hitting the sack before tomorrow morning.
So a lot of you had questions on the first vlog about my using Lumix cameras and whether or not the agency was okay with that workflow, because I guess the industry standard is a Sony workflow. But honestly, because it's such a small creative agency in such a niche market, I really don't think they have a problem with what type of gear I'm using, just as long as it gets the job done.
I've got the 24 to 105 set to 50, and I chose to go with the 42.5, which is an 85 millimeter focal length equivalent, just because the room is kind of narrow, so I want to compress everything, bring it close together, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. And of course, we got the lavalier mics with the lav concealers and the adhesive to go right underneath the clothing, which is a great system that's been working out a lot, so I love it.
So in one of his recent vlogs, David Moorfield mentioned his struggle with finding the switch between videographer and photographer, and that he very much prefers to just remain a videographer while on set. And what I love about these gigs is that it's helped me find the switch between videographer and photographer, especially when we're filming in real time these patient appointments, which I'm obviously not going to show you any of because of HIPAA and patient privacy rights, but I do like that they have helped me to switch between videography and photography pretty seamlessly and still get good quality images for both.
All right, so we are on a lunch break. We just moved, or I just moved to our second interview location, and while I have some downtime, I'm gonna try to scarf down as much food as possible. It's typically a crapshoot whether or not I get to eat on these gigs, but today I got lucky, have some time to eat some food and get rocking and rolling and ready to go for the afternoon, because we got it packed 2 days here. So one thing I don't like about this setup here is you got the HDMI from Condor Blue, and I got the right angle to prevent cable strain on there. But now, because I need to plug headphones into the headphone jack on the camera, I have to angle the HDMI cable backwards so that I can actually get a pair of headphones in there. So it winds up putting strain on the cable anyway, especially when I have to turn it to get my framing right, since I am a one-person team.
So that'll just about do it for this vlog. I realized during the edit that I don't have as much footage as I thought, and I'm gonna chalk that up to the fact that I was popping Tylenol and allergy medicine for the whole 3 or 4 days that I was traveling. So I don't have any on-screen sign-off for you, so this will have to do. Despite feeling like crap, San Antonio was a fun time. I'm looking forward to going back, and I am getting ready for a week-long trip down to Florida in the next week or so to visit 2 agency clients down there. In the meantime, I'm going to keep working behind the scenes on some local clients to the New Jersey, Philadelphia area, which is where I'm based out of. If you happen to be watching this and you're in that area and you want to work together on a project, you can always hit me up. My contact info is below. In the meantime, thanks for hanging out on yet another vlog, and I will see you guys in the next video.